I like that. It seems like a very natural transition.
Yeah. Let's see if we can do it.
Music is the one thing that we all understand that we don't understand.
Music has tremendous driving power within the narrative of any film.
Bond. James Bond.
The visual is one thing. When you add music, it becomes something else.
It's a whole different experience.
The score is the heartbeat of the film.
So much of it is felt. It's all about intuition.
You realize this power we wield.
You can make you feel anything we want you to feel. John Williams made me realize film music can be as great as the classical composers.
Thomas Newman, his music is just so eloquent.
Hans Zimmer revolutionized what we do.
We have to go shake it up. We have to go and reinvent.
For months and months, it really feels like you're going to fail.
Proving yourself is a great force.
There is a chemical high.
Pirates. It's like Led Zeppelin played by an orchestra.
What can the audience really feel?
It doesn't matter how you get there. It's whether it's got substance.
Standing on the podium and hearing it for the first time. I guess it's like seeing your child for the first time being born.
Film music is the symphonic music of today.
How do you make the audience feel like they're coming home?
Your mind is connecting those dots.
Film music has changed fairly radically.
There's sort of a new renaissance going on.
It's so visceral.
It's incredibly powerful.
You can't say enough about how exciting that is.
Prepare to jump into hyperspace on my mark.
All right, stand by.
The soundtracks to the original Star Wars trilogy are altogether probably my favorite film soundtracks of all time, and this is because of the sheer depth that John Williams has given them. He uses a huge variety of rich, characteristic leitmotifs, themes, and other catchy melodies. He shows a mastery of musical tension and climax. He's crafted a unique musical language distinctly recognizable as Star Wars. And he even builds different musical subcultures within this universe. He also uses more advanced filmic techniques such as musical onomatopoeia. In short, where other composers might settle for less, Williams really doesn't waste a single moment of music. John Williams was a relatively new film composer in the 70s, and the Star Wars films, being epic sagas spread across huge time and space, gave him the perfect canvas to write a score on a massive operatic scale, so he could show the world his talents in a seemingly fully fledged form. The music in these films was heavily influenced by a series of classical giants, including Gustav Holst, and Igor Stravinsky. But particularly by the operas of Richard Wagner, whose 16-hour epic, The Ring Cycle, crafts a universe involving dwarfs, giants, dragons, gods, and humans. And Wagner's music also shows a mastery of interweaving themes and leitmotifs. I've heard the Star Wars films being called space operas before, and I think John Williams only enhances these films' depth and breadth by writing an operatic score on an epic scale. While I would have loved to have covered everything in a single video, this is going to focus on just one thing: the lost art of melody, and how John Williams structures his themes. And I don't just mean small cells or motifs of music, but full-sized, expansive themes. Most films today do away with writing full-length themes, instead focusing on small cells of repeated notes or repetitive chord sequences, or just good sound production. In fact, even John Williams himself in a more recent Star Wars film makes his own themes closer to just small cells of notes. Take Rey's theme, for example. It's motivic, meaning made up of small cells of notes, rather than thematic, meaning made up of great, longer strains of melody. And this may reflect the fast-paced, quick-cutting Hollywood action style of Abrams' direction, as opposed to the broader style of the original trilogy. I believe it's Williams' use of these great, long themes that helped make the original Star Wars films what they were: epics, and not just fast-paced Hollywood thrillers. So, how does he structure these themes, and what makes them great? First, I think a very useful concept to keep in mind is the idea of musical tension and climax. That as we follow a melody or a harmonic progression, we don't just hear, but we feel its ebb and flow. We feel it build in tension and reach a climax. And we feel its resolution. For me, learning to hear and feel this flow of tension and climax in music was the first major step to listening with a greater depth and understanding. So, with tension and climax in mind, how does Williams create a great theme? Let's use this theme as an example. Some people call it the Force theme, some call it Hope, some say it represents the Jedi. I'm not convinced this theme is connected with anything in particular. I think Williams uses it as an emotional anchor, adding emotional weight and significance to whatever scene it accompanies. If it does mean anything at all, it may be related simply to expansiveness, to the universe, to the force which connects all things. So, in using it, he gives its scenes a sense of scale. A lot of his themes seem to fall under this same core framework, a kind of statement and answer form. The first half, or statement, exposes the core melodic material, or the elements of the theme that distinguish it and make it recognizable. Take this statement. It has these distinct elements which make it recognizable, and Williams can use these elements later on to develop the theme. Now he's presented the musical ideas in the statement, the answer takes it to an emotional peak or climax. Followed by a resolution, a kind of denouement or dissolution of tension. So we have the statement, which exposes the musical idea, followed by the answer, which takes it to an emotional peak and then relieves the tension. Now, I'm not saying he always uses this formula, but once you know it, you'll start hearing just how often he does. Take the flying theme from E.T. or Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter. But let's look at another theme from Star Wars. This is the love theme, which is a little more complex. Here's its statement, with its distinct characteristics. Then its answer takes it to an emotional peak. But with this theme, whenever he reaches the end of the answer, he lets the theme tail off in a different direction, never fully resolving until the final scene of Empire Strikes Back. In this way, he can alter the tail end of the theme for a variety of different dramatic effects. For example, compare these different variants of the theme.
Oh, nice man.
Very nice.
Sir, Sir, I've isolated...
There are other themes structured like this in Star Wars, such as Leia's theme, or Yoda's theme. And in a future video I'll have a look at his mastery of thematic development. Many popular directors today seem to focus more on quick-cut, fast-paced action, instead of giving their scenes significance and proportion. Consequently, many film composers settle for harmonic simplicity and melodic, well, sometimes melodic non-existence. We still get great sounds and exciting scores, but we lose one of the most important and emotionally rich elements in music: melody, and the ways in which melody can play with, twist, and broaden a film's emotional depth. What John Williams brought us was not the simple, repeated notes or filler music of many modern films, but a tapestry of emotion in musical form. I hope you like.
this species of variformin's been extinct since the Cretaceous period. I mean, this thing is a this thing. What? What?
It's a dinosaur.
Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh. Say again. We have a T-Rex. Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park. How'd you do this? I'll show you.
Alan, this species of variformin's been extinct since the Cretaceous period. I mean, this thing is a this thing. What?
It's a dinosaur.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it.
You just tear up the rule book on it. Cold-bloodedness, it doesn't apply. They're totally wrong. This is a warm-bodied creature.
This thing doesn't live in a swamp.
This thing's got, what, a 25, 27-foot neck?
Brachiosaurus 30. Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh. Say again. We have a T-Rex.
Wow.
Put your head between your knees.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
do move in herds. How'd you do this? I'll show you.
He has composed some of the most iconic orchestral movie scores ever. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today, we're counting down our picks for the top 10 film scores by John Williams. For this list, we're looking at John Williams' career as a Hollywood film composer, and are choosing the scores we feel are the most iconic, memorable, and which add to the films in which they appear. However, we have decided to exclude films like Fiddler on the Roof because although he won an Oscar for it, Williams was the arranger and not the composer of that score.
A Fiddler on the Roof.
Number 10, Empire of the Sun. If the first entry on our list is of such admirable quality, you know that this is a list filled with serious contenders. Empire of the Sun follows a young Christian Bale on his journey from rich expat to Japanese prisoner of war during the Second World War. Williams' score creates an oral landscape that matches the horrors of war and captivity in a way that no listener can ever forget. The brilliant score earned him not only a well-deserved Oscar, Golden Globe, and Grammy nominations, but also won him the BAFTA, just one in a long list of awards. Number 9, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
North-south wind. Army chemical engineers in the Wyoming Valley are making every effort.
On the heels of his Grammy and Academy Award-winning work on Jaws and Star Wars, Williams was tapped by Steven Spielberg once again to bring to screen a sense of mystery and wonderment associated with the unknown.
200 square miles. Everyone is being warned, stay out of the area.
Similar to his work on Jaws, Williams focused on a 5-tone theme that ran throughout, even functioning as a plot point within the movie itself. Not only did these notes communicate with alien life forms, they became ingrained in popular consciousness as well. As seems to be a running theme on this list, Williams earned yet another Academy Award nomination for Close Encounters, but unfortunately he lost, to himself in Star Wars. Number 8, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. After a relative dry spell, Williams was able to stretch his fantasy score muscles once again for our next entry.
This boy will be famous. There won't be a child in our world who doesn't know his name.
Given the opportunity to take the music in any direction he wished, Williams crafted a score that set off the characters, quests, and Quidditch perfectly. And his magnificently eerie piece referred to as Hedwig's Theme became synonymous with the entire Harry Potter universe, books and films alike. Critics seem to think so too, as it was also nominated for an Oscar. Think about it. Who else could have crafted a fantasy score that would include the perfect theme for the entire Harry Potter franchise?
That's it! We're going away! Far away!
Number 7, Superman. Who do you call when you need a monumental score filled with heroism? Do you even have to ask? Williams' take on our favorite Kryptonian matched the mood of the film, conveying the theatrical and in some ways cartoonish feel of heroic deeds instead of being too serious.
What the hell is that?
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You
You've got me! Who's got you?
Fun fact, veteran Hollywood composer Jerry Goldsmith was originally in charge of the score, but Williams took the position due to scheduling conflicts. That worked out well for everyone, as Williams nabbed another Oscar nomination for his work. Number 6. Schindler's List.
What? I'm a musician. What if you don't? Your name goes on a list?
I hear your name goes on a list and they put you on trucks.
Have your tissues ready. This time around, with the help of director Steven Spielberg, Williams uses his music to depict the sheer tragedy and loss suffered during the Holocaust.
Someday, this is all going to end, you know.
Unlike the majority of his other works, Schindler's List is a much more intimate score, with famed violinist Itzhak Perlman performing some of the melancholy music. Williams' delicate work on the soundtrack adds to the feeling of dread that accompanies one of the world's darkest periods in history. This emotion-invoking score allowed Williams to bring home his 5th Oscar because, let's face it, Williams is a magician with music. Number 5. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Our next entry is arguably the mother of all adventure film themes. This score provides another example of Williams' expertise in invoking excitement, most notably through his Raiders March, which would eventually become synonymous with all of Indy's adventures. Beyond that, Williams is also able to add just the right amount of horror when needed. Later be regarded as one of Williams' masterpieces, this score snagged the composer another Oscar nomination. Now it's time to go on an adventure with Dr. Jones. Number 4. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. For his next trick, Williams will warm your hearts with this marvelously uplifting score.
E.T. phone home?
With his work on E.T., he wanted to portray a sense of innocence, showcasing audiences exactly how wide his range is, and the results blew everyone away. He also proved he has a sense of humor by including a snippet of Yoda's theme from The Empire Strikes Back in the film, when E.T. runs into a child dressed as the Green Jedi. Rightfully earning its place as a John Williams concert staple, this is by far the most enchanting of his scores. So much so that E.T. obtained Williams his 4th Oscar win. He just can't stop winning Oscars, can he? Number 3. Jurassic Park.
It's a dinosaur.
There's a reason Williams is the go-to guy when it comes to fantastical and magical themes. He inspires us and makes us feel awe and excitement through his music, which is exactly what he accomplishes in Jurassic Park.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Williams' music increases the sense of amazement we feel when traveling to Isla Nublar, and when we first see the dinosaurs on screen. At the same time, he doesn't neglect to amp up the intensity and fear when the Tyrannosaurus Rex attacks. William knows exactly what we are supposed to feel, and we happily follow along. Number 2. Jaws. Quiet. We hear an Oscar win coming.
Did you
Widely considered by fans and critics alike to be one of Williams' most impressive pieces, Williams' two-note tuba theme made multitudes of people scared to venture back into the water again. The score as a whole is incredibly well done, moving the plot along with mounting tension and primordial dread, as evidenced by such tracks as Out to Sea and Sea Attack Number 1. But it's the main theme that proved exactly what Williams is capable of.
You guys okay over there?
Need to build some suspense? Take note from John Williams. Before we orchestrate our final pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. This shouldn't have been a surprise. The combined talents of composer John Williams and director George Lucas take us to worlds we couldn't possibly dream of. Williams blows us right out of the gate with the epic opening theme, but all of it, from lurching around to the seedy Mos Eisley Cantina to the ending ceremony, is amazing. Throughout, Williams portrays a sense of familiarity while exposing us to new lands. And this isn't just our ruling, as many critics list the Star Wars score as the best score ever composed. So, do you agree with our list?
You're meddling in things that ought not to be meddled in.
What's your choice for John Williams' best score? For more awe-inspiring top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Adiós, señor. Oh!